Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're taking a look at the 2 to 4 player game Bunny Kingdom. Now, this is designed by Richard Garfield and published by ILO Games. In this game, you're going to try to have the best Bunny Kingdom possible by controlling the most lucrative fiefs. Let's go ahead down the table. I'll give you a general overview of how the game plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is Bunny Kingdom by Richard Garfield, and we're gonna do a 4-player setup. But if you look at the board here, the difference between the 4 and the 3-player setup is going to be cards. If you're doing 2 or 4, you get 10 cards. If you're doing 3-player, you're going to get 12 cards. And throughout the game, you're trying to control territories, and you're trying to score those territories. And it's going to go over 4 rounds. Person with the most points at the end of the 4th round wins the game. Well, how does it work? Well, each player is going to get whatever the card number is for their player count. In this case, we're playing a 4-player game, so each player is going to get 10 cards. They're going to look through these cards, pick 2 of them, place them face down, and then put the others to the side. Then everyone's going to simultaneously flip them, do what they say, and then pass the cards on. And this is going to be a draft style until you run out of cards and the round ends, and then you're going to score. You do that 4 times. Okay, so what are these cards you're playing? Well, there's a lot of cards in the deck that have coordinates. In these coordinates cards, so let's say I flip this one. I've played H10. So I'm playing as the yellow character. I would look at H10. So H10. I place my guy right there. It shows the resource on the top to give you a little indication of what you're going to be picking up too. But there's other cards that I could play. So there's 100 different cards in here that are the location cards on the map. So every location that's on here is in the deck. So that's one thing. The other thing I can play is going to be these fortress cards. I'm going to play the fortress cards. You're going to look at the number, and you can put that number, fortress, on top of it for now. At the end of the round, you're going to place these out simultaneously, but for now, you're going to do that. Other cards, there's going to be parchment cards. Parchment cards, you're just going to announce that you have a parchment card and leave it face down until the end of the game. Now, one thing also to remember is when you're playing these cards, you leave them in your play area because different things will score for different things. This one here, so you're going to copy another parchment from the player on your left. So when you flip and you're scoring at the end of the game, parchment score at the end of the 4th round after scoring, you're going to look at your opponent's parchments, pick one and copy it and be able to do that. So it's pretty powerful, especially if they got something good. Other ones are like King of Thieves, 12 carrots if you control at least 9 cities, and all sorts of cool parchment cards that are in there. So that's those, and I showed you one fortress card. There's also going to be, so let's look at this whole pile here, like these things right here. These cards here, when I place them down, here's these cards are going to match up with one of the resource territories. I'll place that there. This one actually gives me all 3 resources. Some are singular resources and whatnot. And at the end of the round, I'll place those out. This guy right here is a special one. This lets you put a camp out. If you put a camp out, which is going to be, you'll place this down, you'll get one of the camp tokens. If you place a camp out, you would just put it in any open area and you'll put your little guy here. But keep in mind that camps are like temporary scoring, because if someone plays that grid location, this gets removed and theirs gets placed there. So you always want to remember that as something that can happen. You also have really cool card that lets you like connect 2 regions. Let me see if I can find that one in here. That one is going to be like this sky thing, and you're going to place 2 locations and they actually become adjacent to each other, so you can make bigger fiefs for scoring at the end of the game. Other cards that can come up are going to be this carrot card, which is a parchment card, and this is just simply 3 points at the end of the game. If you have this and you need to play your cards, one of your 2 cards, you just tell it, hey, I have a parchment card, put it face down. It'll score at the end of the game. Rules for placing castles and such. So now here's a 2 castle, and there's also a 3 castle in here. Let me see if I can find a 3 castle. There's several of them throughout the game that you can play. But 3 castles have special placement rules, and some other things do too. Like here's a gold mine. It has a placement rule where you have to place this into the mountain. The 3, I can't find a 3 castle one right now, but the 3 castle one's similar. It has to be placed into a mountain area. So a couple things for placement. When you're placing any of these tokens here, they can't go anywhere where there's a castle or another one of these tokens. It can go where there's already another resource, so they could double them up and all sorts of fun stuff. But what you're trying to do, so let me set up a little example here, is you're trying to get your fiefs to have power, which are going to be these castles, and resources, which are going to be these. So, and diagonally doesn't count, so if I have something here, it wouldn't count. So at the end of the round, if I'm scoring this fief right here, you can look at however many little towers you have. I have 2 towers, so I have 2 power, and I can produce 1 resource. So 1 times 2 is 2, so I would get 2 points. Now if I had it like this, it would be 2 times 0, and I would get 0 points. If I have another one here, let's say I have stuff here, then I would have, you see there's 3 resources, but I only have 2 different ones. So it would be 2 times 2, 4 points. And you're going to score all your fiefs and move your bunnies up on that score track accordingly. A couple other things to keep in mind is these little lava spaces, that actually separates territories. So if I had something like this, then this territory and this territory are not connected because of this lava in here. So this would be 1 times 1, 1 point, and this would still be 4 points. And that's where you get into getting these additional things put down. So if I get this guy, I may want to put it here, but I already have wood and I already have a carrot. It might actually be better here since I'm only doubling up on one good. So a lot of decisions in that area. That in a nutshell is how you score the game, and you're going to do that 4 times. However, at the end of the 4th round, after you've scored all your fiefs and you have them all connected, or you scored all your connected, they're not necessarily connected, but after you score all your fiefs, then you're going to score your parchment cards. So you flip them over and you're going to do whatever they say for scoring and add those points up. At the end of that, whoever has the most points wins. And that in a nutshell is how you play Bunny Kingdom. Let's go ahead back up to the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. So I'm a really big fan of both abstract games and Richard Garfield. So where the cover might look like you're playing like bunny combat game where you're having like hordes of bunnies coming down and they're destroying like a kingdom of bunnies or whatever, that's really nothing like what's happening in this game. This game is more of an abstract area control-ish game where you not really controlling, it's more like it is area control. So basically you are just playing your cards to get different coordinates down to try to create your different fiefs through the cards that you're drafted, and also take a look at those cards that you're drafted to see if you can prevent your opponent from scoring so many points, like maybe block off their fief, but also keep in mind that you're losing points potentially by blocking them off. So there's a lot of really cool things that you have to think about with playing this game. And the parchment cards are amazing, and they sort of push you to one direction or another. So you may be preoccupied with trying to get those parchment cards fulfilled so you get those extra points, but you may forget about what your opponent's doing, and they might get a ton of points every round. And you can get a lot of points from connecting these fiefs and getting them big and having a lot of power in them. But you also get a lot of points from having a decent amount of power in one and a decent amount of power in there, but having a lot of different resources that you're going to produce. So there's a lot of things to think about in this game, and there's a lot of different strategies that you can employ. And with it being an abstract game, and with it being dependent on how the other players play, and basically the cards that you get in your hand is random too, there's a lot of replayability in this game because your strategies are going to change from game to game. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're looking for a great abstract strategy game and you want to have one that you have some randomness in it. So it's going to be the cards that you're going to draw is going to be your randomness, which gives to a lot of replayability. Then I would highly recommend checking out Bunny Kingdom. Thank you for watching.